beat and involvement can you beat with that? Because that does take a parent to be home, you know, get 8 hours or at least 4 hours of the day to make sure they're getting the work done, so.
And another thing I like about Connections is you don't have to wait till the end of the year to be done with school. You could be finished before 1 month and on before summer vacation. So you can finish as early as you want.
Any questions? I know you'll have some more.
You all, worked with the Greenville folks, McCalls, did y'all work with folks outside of the Charleston region?
It was, to us, like, it would have been easiest if everything was here, but, you know, like, yes, they were still going looking for, you know, a child for us, but we, you know, just seeing her online, you know, we did basically an inquiry on ourselves. We're very much trying to do the proactive thing and be involved and also stay up with doing it, because I know as busy as DSS is, they're not just going looking, you know, at children. It's not like they just sit down and say, okay, Dad, I'm gonna go and look for a family, or I guess a child to complete, you know, the family here, and they start going through, and that's just the pros, you know, the ways they do it every day. We knew that at some point, yes, the computer's going to match us with somebody, but we also wanted to have, I guess, a say-so on that. So when we saw one online, just happened to call and find out that's where she was, then it involved them. But it was the same. We had a great experience the whole way through, from beginning to end, no matter who we went and contacted, and they were always there for the child, for sure.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have the same
Well,
with
and
you.
was it a local?
You said you were sort of done with foster, and then 4 days later, did you get a call, or did you throw it out there and say?
I'm a little different. I was a therapeutic foster parent. And so, all I dealt with were therapeutic kids, who could not be in regular DSS. And so, what happened was, I had a teenager who turned 18 in my home. And you know, after they turn a certain age, they start smelling themselves. She decided that, you know, she was grown, she wanted to do certain things in my home that I wouldn't allow. And, she left my home on her own accord. But, it was very tumultuous, the way that she left my home. So that's why I said I was done. You know, I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. What happened was, the Bear Foundation had a person who's no longer there called me, because they said that they sat around in a meeting trying to decide, and they picked straws on who was gonna call me. So the person called me, he's like, "Miss Humphrey, I have 2 little boys here." I said, "Okay, what are their ages?" And he said 3 and 4. I said, "Okay, I'm on my way." Click. That was our whole conversation. That was it in a nutshell. I looked at my coworker, Michelle. I said, "I'm gonna go pick up 2 boys." We both logged out of our computers at that moment. We told our other coworkers where we were going, and we went down to DSS and picked, to Bear Foundation and picked up German and Danny. And then the next day, the Bear Foundation called me and they said, well, we didn't want to tell you yesterday because we didn't want, you know, to scare you, but they have a little sister. I said, okay, where is she? So they told me. I once again hung up the phone with them that fast. Looked at my coworker, I said, "Michelle, let's go." We both walked off our computers, told them where we were going, and we went and picked her up. And then from there, I took a week off work to make sure that everybody was acclimated, because I was okay with just the 2 boys. But after she came in, and when she came in, she was sickly. Like, I didn't know what was wrong with her. I was like 2 seconds from taking her to the hospital. Come to find out, she's allergic to 8 different foods. And she's lactose intolerant, and they were giving her whole milk. So, it was a little rough in the beginning. It was a little rough in the beginning. I had to take her down to nothing but bread and water to try, and I added things in one at a time to figure out what was going on. First thing I added back in was milk. It came up. I'm like, okay, we're done with it. And so from there, over the years, we were able to build her list of foods that she's allergic to. I have my PTSD baby. I can say that in front of him because I talk to my kids about their issues. I don't hide them from my kids. We talk about it, we talk through it, we understand what's going on. I'm their fourth foster home. I was their fourth foster home. Danny's autistic, so that was a whole different battle I had to fight right there because, the previous foster families are saying is a language barrier. They don't know a lick of Spanish except for what they learned in school last year. So, when I got them, Danny was actually nonverbal when I got him. He would sing and you would know what the song was by the tune. So he was nonverbal when I got him at 4. And so since then, my kids have made tremendous strides. Danny and Desi were, they got straight A's, their last report card last week. Last quarter, German got a B honor roll. Yeah, my kids have made tremendous strides, because when I first got them, I was told, okay, all 3 of them, they're vegetables. They're not gonna be able to do this, they're not gonna be able to do that. And when I got them, they just sat there and they looked at you. They didn't talk, they just sat and looked at you. And so I'm thinking, okay, no, this is my challenge. So through a whole lot of prayer, meditation, woo! We are nowhere near where we were when they first came in the house. And you can actually talk to their their DSS workers and that they had when I first got them to now, they're like, these are not the same kids. So we've made a lot of progress.
Because the workers knew you and that they knew that this was the right environment for them.
Let me say this. When I took them in, I did it because I did not want them separated as siblings. I have 4 brothers, and I think where would I be if I did not grow up with my brothers? Had I not taken them in, they would have been separated. I was not about to let that happen. It has been rough. I did try to throw in the towel once, and I was talked down off the ledge. But I'm so glad I was talked down off the ledge, because people keep saying, oh, they're a blessing to have you. No, I'm blessed to have them. These are my miracles. These are my miracles, so.
Right there too, you have to realize, and y'all at that point where you're making this decision to move forward, hopefully, that the workers have a job to do. You know, it's a very hard process. We tend to don't like their job because we don't feel like they're moving fast enough for us. But having been in it so long and dealing with a lot of dealing with all the issues, I think we understand. So on paper, what y'all put, you know, I would like a child that's this age to this age and this color, this whatever, you know, whatever all that the paperwork does say. You tend in your mind already set to get this particular child. It don't work like that. It does not at all work like that. In most case scenarios, the child you're gonna end up with is going to be the one that touches your heart. You know, and it's gonna just be probably nowhere near what you thought on paper or what in your mindset you thought that you wanted is gonna be. You know, I've seen where someone wants a baby and they end up with a child that's 11 in a wheelchair, you know, and adopting that child. So the extreme is very extreme. In rare case scenarios, you get what you want. You know, I got the baby that was just born, and you think you're gonna be able to raise that child to be your child in your nature, but another rude awakening to that is that child has a particular DNA. You know, yes, you will be able to install the thoughts and what you would like for that child to grow up to be and so forth, but everyone has their set DNA, including your brother, sister, or your cousin. You know, you would think, oh man, me and him grew up, but now he went this direction. You know, that's just facts. So you really have to be mentally and do a real big heart check on these case scenarios, especially when these kids come into your house and you be like she just said, it was 2, and then the next day it was 3. You know, are you prepared for that? That happens a lot. Are you prepared for that?
And when you say, are you prepared for that, you're going to be challenged.
Yeah.
You're going to be challenged to the point you are sitting in your room, in your closet with the light off, crying. The piece of chocolate cake. You're going to be challenged. And they're not going to give up. Their resilience is way more than ours. They're not going to give up. Because if they can find a one weak little link in your chain, they're gonna go for that one little link. And you have to be strong. And I will say this, do not cry in front of them. Do not cry, because coming from a foster environment, they're looking for the person who cries first, because then that's when they know they have the control. And as a adoptive foster parent, you have to be strong. They may want the control, but they want that discipline more than the control, but they will never admit it. And so you have to be strong. This is, like you said, it's not a walk in the park. It's not. You're gonna come up against bio family. You're gonna come up against, to this day, we go somewhere and I still have people follow me around. Where'd you get those kids? Are those kids yours? I'm gonna call the cops. I still to this day get that. I mean, that's where we are, that's today's world. Unfortunately, I've become acclimated to it, but it happens, because if you do not get a child that is the same color as your skin, you're gonna have to be strong, you're gonna have to learn how to work with that, and you're gonna have to learn how to deal with it, and at the same time, you're gonna have to learn how to educate yourself and the child that you have in your home. So we're sitting up here, and we look like, oh, happy times, you know, great families or whatever, but you know, we fought the fault to get to where we are. It's not an easy road, but it is a wondrous road.
I have a question for you. So you're single parent.
I am.
I'm just wondering about your support system, because you now have 3, when you were adopted, especially 3 small children, and you have one that you're trying to take to the hospital because she was sickly, and I was just wondering about how that, both for you, emotionally and financially. As far as having kids, because I was thinking, oh, we might be able to afford having another child, but, you know, with the sibling group, oh gosh, could we afford that? Are you getting help financially through the
So my support system, I don't have any family here. It's just me, it was just me and my oldest daughter. She's 24 now. But my support system is my friends. Anytime I needed someone's help, I picked up the phone, hey, I need help. Someone was there in less than 5 minutes. I have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful employer who understands what I'm going through. I am able to work from home when I need to, because there's days when she just can't go to school because of her stomach. She can't do it. And so, my support system is vast, and it's not blood relatives, it's friends and it's family. Well, friends that I call family.
Right.
That's my support system.
And financially, are you able to get paid for?
Financially, they're still on Medicaid. Once they get in the foster care system, they're on Medicaid. And so, that's one thing that I don't have to worry about, but yes, they are dual covered.
Okay.
So they're covered through Medicaid and through my job.
Like daycare and all of that?
They're all in school,
Oh.
but, for daycare, yes, DSS provides ABC vouchers for daycare.
All right.
And so,
Well, actually, for foster children, when you adopt.
oh, when you adopt, okay, so. Since they've been adopted, my kids go to Meaver School of Excellence, it's a brand new charter school in Goose Creek. And before that, they went to Goose Creek Primary. So what I would do was, I would drop them off at school, go to work, pick them up from school on time, and then work an hour from home until I found a daycare that worked with me, with the payments. And so after they've been adopted, I adopted them when they were, right before, when they went to Nevers. And so Nevers and I have a payment plan worked out, and it's very affordable.
Any other questions?
Do you ever, to the parents, do you ever have a situation where you had a child in your home, you were fostering, and the intention was you were considered, as an adoptive parent, but then it didn't work out based on whatever the situation was? And how did you deal with that?
I cried for about an hour, picked up and moved on. I mean, it is what it is. If you're not a good fit, you're not a good fit. You can't sit there and waddle over it because you're crying over spilled milk. Just because that child is not a fit for your house doesn't mean that 3 other ones, won't come and fill that void. It is what it is. I mean, you just have to pick up and go on.
I can kind of speak maybe a little bit. We weren't really a foster, I guess, family initially. We initially went in just to adopt. And initially, when we first started to look, we looked at international adoption because my wife is from the country of Colombia. And so we wanted to actually go back and adopt from the same home she was adopted from as a baby. When we contacted them, they said, yes, we'd love to have you guys. That would be so good. They knew her, they had her file there still from when she was a little kid. We communicated with the woman that was actually in charge. We spent, I don't know, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to go through that process, have everything all done and translated, sent to the State Department, do all these different things, sent over there for them to initially say, yes, we would love to have you guys, to then say, it's not gonna be a fit. And at that point, we almost gave up. We almost just said, it's not us, just forget it, And then decided at that point, kind of about the same weekend, we kind of discussed it some more and said, let's just do it through DSS. And so even during that whole process, even though it wasn't fostering, we didn't have a child already, we had already made the plans, the arrangements to do all this because they had said, yes, it'd be great. And kind of the same thing she said, we just had to go and cut ties, say, it's not meant to be that road, so it's meant to be a different road, and we found the child that we're supposed to have, for sure.
And I know a lot of y'all have a lot more questions. It's the environment, number one, and you don't wanna feel like you're saying something stupid or kinda out of the, especially with workers here, you don't wanna put yourself out like that. But really, there's no dumb questions.
No.
You're gonna be asking more questions than you could ever imagine as the process goes along. So I commend Ms. Jackie and whoever else put this panel together and set up these situations because you want the truth. You wanna see what you're gonna get into. Every story is different. To me, it's an ongoing book. Everyone has a chapter. Might be 4 pages, might be 16 pages, might be what, but it's an ongoing chapter. It's the most interesting story besides the Bible that you're going to read about. And we can tell you some stories. So once again, if you're not comfortable asking a certain question, please ask us afterwards. But if you think it's a dumb question, no, it's like school. There's literally no dumb question when it comes to this. So don't hold back. Because it's going to be a lot of things that y'all come across that we don't want to hold y'all from adopting, because you didn't see it coming type situation.
Any other questions? Well, we would definitely like to thank you all for being here and opening up and talking about your stories, and round of applause for